So I've been playing on the Osh server for a bit now, and quite a few players here have gone onto our Dyna build and have been trying it out for themselves. It's really refreshing to see. It kind of reminds me when Faker tried out my build after I played against him. So this is the rank 1 player. He already played some Dyna, but after playing against us a couple weeks ago, he picked way into our Dyna. And yes, you run Grask into every matchup, including ranged champions like Wei. We'll get into the reasons and the build a little bit later in the video. But yeah, he's been running ever since then. He tried a couple games with TP, which is fine. I've run that build too, but with how many times TP's been nerfed and how good Ignite is right now, and after the last round of buffs that Ignite got, I'm just running Ignite every game. Also, home guards exist. There's quite a few reasons we mostly run Ignite now. Dyna also has a really fast push, so you can actually get good reset timings. You really don't need the TP as much anymore. And then there's certain split push windows that don't really even exist with Dyna anymore past like 20-25 minutes. Like, you don't have to worry about Baron now until 25 minutes, so you have a really long window to split push without having TP, so you really don't need that summoner spell anymore. But either way, still fine. And then, so that was the rank 1 player. This is the rank 9 player who I think is actually the best player here. Same thing, he played against us a while ago, and he's been running it since as well. Quite a few other players are. But yeah, let's get into the actual build. So the build is you start Doran's Ring, 2 potions. You have to do this so you can 2Q the range creeps at level 5. That's standard. That's to be expected. Same with the first buy. Dark Seal is the most efficient first buy for an AP champion on pretty much all champions unless you need tier or something. Then you'll just try to get an Amp Tome and then probably boots unless you're trying to catch a wave. Same thing with this decision, the Aether Wisp versus Hextech Alternator. You're trying to, it just depends how quickly you have to get back to lane, and also with fitting your pet boots. If you can get Storm Surge right away and you have like a good, like you just got double kill mid lane or something, you can just finish Storm Surge and get these 2 items, make it back to lane on time without missing any CS. You can just go and complete that and then get boots after Storm Surge. Sometimes you get boots before. You almost always go pen boots because with how they changed Dyna's numbers in a rework quite a bit ago, pen is really efficient on her, and that's also why Storm Surge is so much better than Lich Bane, really. Eventually, like, I just went into custom game and I also ran the numbers. Like, Storm Surge just does so much more damage early, basically throughout the entire game, especially during the window. Like, for the first 25 minutes of the game, pretty much, Storm Surge outperforms every other item on Dyna. This build really just comes down to it's the most efficient in every slot, and that's exactly what you want, and it fits your playstyle and just strengths perfectly. So yeah, good Storm Surge, then pen boots. Sometimes you go Mercs though if they do have an AP mid jungle matchup and they have a lot of CC. You can go Mercs. Second item is your most core item. That's Hourglass. So you grab that second to be able to go in, just synchronize perfectly with your ult. And then you'll notice because you didn't go Merc Treads, you're missing a Mar at this point, and this is also going with the like dive playstyle. And to be able to go in, you're missing a Mar, so you want to get Banshees. And then after that, Death Cup becomes really efficient. Her AP ratio is a little better now, but it still doesn't make sense to go this item third. Even if you can get the full, like, you have to be able to get the full item pretty much to justify getting it third. You pretty much always go Banshees, but if you go Death Cup third, it's fine. Then ideally you don't want to have to go Void Staff ever in the game. The game should be over before then, but if you have to, you actually go Crypt Bloom, which is now the other Void Staff or the other pen item. Just because you get more haste. This build doesn't have any haste. We get a little bit from runes, which we'll get to. But yeah, so Crypt Bloom just does a little bit more. You lose 10 pen, but you get in some AP, but you get 20 ability haste and the healing, which is really nice and just works well with their ult and with your team fighting. But yeah, that's a full build and just the most efficient build you can go. The only other item that people are going to think is good is Shadow Flame, but that's really just a bait item. She doesn't have the like cooldowns to justify going and you're queuing early when they're at full health. Like, the damage from Shadow Flame just won't work on her. But yeah, that item's just complete bait. It doesn't fit any of the windows. By the time you'd want it second or third, and then you just need to have Hourglass and Imar by then. Then the runes, which gets a little more interesting. So this is the rune page. It is Grask is the most efficient rune for Dyna. Just gives you the best trading, and you can actually proc it extremely early in the game. Along with Shield Bash. Shield Bash does more damage than pretty much any other rune, especially every other secondary rune. It can even like almost match Electrocute in late game, because you can proc it twice with your W. Your W can actually proc twice, and then you also get the extra damage from the health you get in this rune in this tree. Bone Plating is kind of must too for just melee champs in mid lane, and it's super efficient, way better than second one down in pretty much every single matchup. There are a couple matchups where you can't take second wind, but yeah, take bone plating, and then overgrowth. Just really good with Dinah's W health ratio, her ult, and again, just being able to actually go in and fight and dual champions. Like, you can actually fight with this rune page. Unflinching isn't actually a bad rune. I could see some use cases, but not really, just because, again, she has health ratios and she wants to be able to go in. The only other good rune set that kind of comes close to this, because these are two best trees, is Phase Rush. You're still in the blue and green trees. You get Scorch early, so you have slightly... This page can be better early. The problem with Phase Rush is one you can normally not proc until level 3. But then from 3 to like level 10, I would say, you're pretty strong. Like, that's your window to win the game. After that, you start falling off again. And this is kind of the old situation that you had with Dyna. Before, it used to be Thunderlords versus Phase Rush. Or, yeah, back in the day. This was a while ago. But I always preferred Thunderlords. Thunderlords you could proc with 1W. And that's why everyone thought, like, everyone switched over to Electric Dyna. And this was before she got the rework, and I think it's just so silly. Because you can't use sudden impact. This, like, Electrocute is made for range champions. This tree does absolutely nothing for Dyna. It's impossible to win any lane if you run Electrocute, and it has no scaling. Even that's like when this starts to actually do some damage, even though they buffed it based on it early. The problem is, any range champion, like Ahri, Aurora, Zoe, LeBlanc, they are ranged. They can just go auto, any ability auto, they take attack speed, and they're proccing Electrocute level 1. You're not proccing Electrocute or Sudden Impact until level 3, and these bottom runes are useless. Deep Ward is like the best rune in this stream. You can argue Mementos, but you're not a ward bot on Dyna, and it's not even safe to place Deep Wards. Dyna does not roam well. And then the other thing with Treasure Hunter, you have to roam and be everywhere else in the map to stack this up. So you're not actually getting this gold. You're getting 1 kill in lane, maybe 2 from a jungler. So you're not stacking this rune. These you can't use. The lane's already lost. You still need mana. You really want to go Resolve more than anything. Like, you need Manifold Band and you need Transcendence. Oh yeah, I didn't really get into secondary runes back to this page. But yeah, the only thing you're missing from the build is Haste. So you grab Transcendence, you have to go double AP to 2Q, the range comes to level 5. And so you grab Transcendence for the haste, and then you need the mana. You obviously need the mana for her playstyle. Because is clearing really efficient, you can take jungle camps, you just need it to trade. You get better back timings, you don't have to stay in base as long. Yeah, you just need the mana. Yeah, do not run Electrocute, it's really bad. It's the most vulnerable playstyle. There's no way to bust with these runes. It doesn't even scale well, like that's when the damage goes higher, but you're just too easy to pick off. You need the health, you can actually trade. It works really well with your E-timing too, with the reset too. You can do one trade, you can go back in, and you get extra health, you get healing. You can actually out DPS. Like if you run Electrocute, problem just picture any matchup. If you run Electrocute versus like Ahri, she just wins the trade level 1. She auto W's auto, and like you're just never coming back from that if you run Electrocute. But with Grass, you can trade perfectly with. You can actually win the fight at level 2 or 3, and then at level 6 is when she really wins the matchup against Dyna. But with Grass, you can actually trade because it like works perfectly with her art timing. And you can kind of keep up with her in just every champ. Because with Dyna, her strength has always been she's been able to out DPS other AP champions. She's always been against bad against AD champs because AD champs will always out DPS AP champs pretty much. But she used to be able to, and that's what you want to play for. You want to be able to out DPS AP champions. That's her strength. And then her burst and dive, and that's exactly what this page does. So yeah, play to her strengths. If you want to give it a try, let me know how it goes. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you guys have any questions, let me know. If you guys want to see me post some videos on our unranked, or not unranked, we're still challenger, but our internet's been bad. I've been playing on 5G lately. Technicians come tomorrow, so hopefully I can get my internet fixed. But yeah, we're challenger right now in Osh. We're gonna grind for rank 1. If you guys want to see some road to rank 1 content on here, let me know. And yeah, thank you guys for watching.